What's up guys, it's T from Combat Culture. Today we've got a really cool video for you guys today. We're going to cover a question that was asked quite a bit in one of our previous videos, and that's whether or not you're too old to start Muay Thai. Stay tuned. So, are you too old to start? The short answer is no. I started when I was 27 years old, and I've got students and friends that started a lot older than that. So I do want to point out that in Thailand, many people do start at a younger age, and there's many different reasons why. It's first and foremost, Muay Thai is a big part of their cultural identity. There's a lot more Muay Thai gyms readily available. For many, it's a career path, whether they go on to become a fighter or they go on to become a trainer. So things are a little bit different, when you're considering folks in Thailand at the age they started compared to the other parts of the world. So that's something I always want to point out. Are you looking for a new hobby or a different form of working out to get in shape? And if that's the case, then yes, you can start at any age, because regardless of what shape you're in, you're still going to get a good workout. And doesn't matter how physically capable you still are, because what's happening is you're still stimulating your brain, you're still learning something new. And that in itself is still a form of development. So absolutely, if you're just looking to pick up a new hobby or just looking for a new form of exercise, absolutely you can start at any age. Or are you doing it because you're looking for a form of self-defense? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely, you can start at any age. I think Muay Thai is a great way to defend yourself, just like many other martial arts like Jiu-Jitsu and some of the other martial arts out there. It's a great way to not only develop ourselves physically, but also mentally, giving us that self-confidence. And I think it's fair to say that half of the time, it's how we present ourselves as confident individuals. I think that in itself is enough to deter would-be threats. Are you looking to compete? And if so, at what level? I think this is probably gonna be the one where your age plays the biggest factor. Because the older we are, the longer it takes for our bodies to recover. And as any active competitor can tell you, fight camps are very, very taxing on the body. However, I wouldn't let that deter you, because there's many different levels to fighting. I think it's fair to say that most people that do end up competing don't end up in pros, right? Hell, I can even say that most people that end up competing don't even make it to the amateur circuit. So if that is what's motivating you to get into Muay Thai, then I absolutely think you should continue pushing forward. Find a gym, get some classes in, and then have a conversation, an open and transparent conversation with your coach about goal setting, and then just take it from there. The next one is, what are some advantages to starting younger? When we're younger, our bodies generally adapt to things a lot easier, and like I mentioned earlier, our bodies also recover a lot faster. Another advantage of starting younger is that you have more time to develop before you start facing physical limitations. And what I mean by that is someone who starts when they're 15 and 20 has a lot more years to develop and really hone their craft, as opposed to someone who's 40 and 50 before they start running into physical limitations, right? Where they start getting hurt easier, it takes them longer to recover, some things aren't moving as quick as they would like. So that's another advantage of starting younger. And another advantage of starting younger is that you generally have less responsibilities, which means you have more time to dedicate to your hobbies, sports, and other interests. And the last advantage I'm going to touch on for starting younger is that generally when you're younger, you do learn faster, right? Your brain is more of a sponge. You have less preconceived notions of what the expectations are of you, as opposed to when you're older, there's certain expectations that you place on yourself. Right, so those are just some of the things that I think are considered advantages if you were to start younger. And what are some of the advantages of starting older? Well, the first one that comes to mind is that you generally have more resources at your disposal, right? And what that means is that you have more options in terms of where you can train, who you can train with, how often you can train, especially if you're doing private lessons. I know for a fact that when I was younger, I was working with much more limited resources, smaller bank account, by and large, right? So I think that's definitely an advantage, when you do start at a later stage in life, that you do have more resources, and it ultimately gives you more options in terms of where you end up training. Another advantage to starting older is that while you don't have as much freedom as you would when you were younger, you generally have more control over your schedule. Really, depending on what you do for a living, that could mean you could train more often in the daytime, or you could train more often at night. I think all in all, it's fair to say that, as you get older, you have a better sense of what you can and cannot do, and that gives you more freedom over how often you can train. And the last advantage I want to cover today is as we grow older, we stop taking things at face value. We learn how to digest information differently. We learn how to interpret things from different points of view. We learn how to fight smarter, not harder. And the most important thing is that we generally learn to control our emotions better. That's a very important thing when it comes to development and growth. So those are some of my thoughts when it comes to whether or not someone is too old to take up Muay Thai, but I'd love to get your thoughts as well. So drop a comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please do us a solid and hit the like and subscribe button. We'll be coming out with a lot more videos in the next few weeks. Until then, keep training, stay safe, and be healthy.